When was it last changed?
It was last changed this morning. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No.
Trying to figure out how to.
Read it a couple of days ago, so I don't know.
Did they change
Okay.
this? Can't figure
We
out how to.
have some guests here, so we're going to go around the table. If you would tell us your name and why you're here. Go ahead, David.
Oh, David Atkin, I'm the database manager.
Hello, sir. Roger Barroso, I'm here to give an update on the convention.
Frank Atwood, your liaison to Center Right Coalition and also approval voting activist.
Matthew John Nardo, I'm the Sears Park Convention Committee.
Bruce Griffith, I guess I am actively campaigning for CD4.
Scott Elker, seeking the nomination for the Libertarian Party for governor.
Oh. And how do you spell your last name?
H-E-L-K-E-R.
H-E-L-K-E-R? Okay. You just say your name, that's good enough.
My name is Ruth Desoms.
Ruth?
Yes.
And then I have to write these down, so how do you spell your last name?
Desoms, D-E-S-H-O-M-M-E-S.
M-E-S?
D-E-S-H-O-M-M-E-S.
Ah, two M's.
Two M's.
Got it, thank you.
So I saw it on Facebook. I said, what's going on?
Oh, you saw the meeting going?
Yes, but I didn't have no idea what's going on here.
Welcome.
And I saw it on Facebook. They say anybody can come. So I said, let me come to see what's going on.
All right, now you're on
That's why I'm
Facebook.
here.
Thank you.
We're glad you came. I would remind everybody here that once we have one more guest introduce himself. Go ahead.
I'm Bennett Rutledge. I'm on the convention committee, and I'm here looking for volunteers.
Okay. I would ask everybody to follow our rules here tonight. If you have something to bring up, you have to be recognized by the chair. That way we can only have one person talking at a time. Has everybody read the minutes that Mike was so nice to provide to us a couple weeks ago? Excuse me. Go ahead.
Might I circulate Center Right Coalition handouts?
Want to do it now? Go ahead.
Just sending around, just look at them, pass them around. Thank you.
Can I get the last guy's name? What was your name?
Bennett Rutledge, B-E-N-N-E-T-T R-U-T-L-E-D-G-E.
Okay, thanks, Bennett.
Okay, no changes needed to be made to the minutes from last month?
Yeah, of course.
All right. We'll go to the officer reports. I have nothing to add other than the fact that I've made several more phone calls for fundraising as well as for the convention. That's the only changes that I have. Jake, do you know if Richard wanted to add anything to his report?
No, he just wanted to thank everybody for the last year.
Okay. John?
Nothing, it's not a thing to add, but I'd like to bring up the thing about QuickBooks. I don't know if everybody's read it, but you know how a lot of the software now, they're going from you buy it once to now that you subscribe to it. Well, QuickBooks is doing that. We're running a 2014 version, which we own, but they keep threatening, and gradually capability is dropping off. And I just kind of wonder if anybody knows that there's a substitute for QuickBooks that's like free or cheap. Because QuickBooks wants $279 a year.
We used to have QuickBooks Online, and it was 200 and some bucks a year, and it's limited functionality. It's not that great, so it might be worth hanging on to this a little longer.
Well, this would be desktop.
Yeah.
Not online.
Oh, they're going to have a subscription for the desktop?
Yes, that Word does that now. Have to pay $10 a month to.
Use Word?
Oh, sorry.
There's some history there. I think QuickBooks was an Intuit company.
Yeah.
I believe they sold it to someone else, and they have, the Intuit company now has a replacement for it. We may want to look at what that option is. I went through a couple things with one of the bosses at Shotgun's trying to set up her QuickBooks account on a new computer and went through all kinds of gyrations to try and transfer database files and all this stuff. And ran across no support from Intuit.
Is there any reason to make a decision on this? Can you give us a report by next month as what you find for the replacement possibilities?
And I'll look into whatever that was, but Intuit has their own new version of accounting software. It's got a different name.
Oh. Good. Is it better?
I don't know.
It might be compatible.
Obviously, they think it's better because they sold the old one and started over.
Yes? Okay, thank you, John.
I asked my 4,000 of my closest friends, so we'll see if they know a suggestion.
Thank you.
You're going to get 4,000 different answers.
She stepped down. Campaigns, Kim, you said will not be here tonight, Kevin? Okay.
But she didn't step down, did she?
Yes.
She did step down.
Well, not till convention.
Okay.
Which is before the next meeting.
Question, is she going to handle all the paperwork for the candidates, or?
I'll reach out to her tomorrow and see if she's gonna be able to help us that at convention. No, we have to scramble.
Okay.
Who do you know that is schooled in that, that can handle that, David, in the event that she can?
Jack Ware.
Yeah, and Jack would be able to. He would.
Ask him.
We'll see.
Oh, Norm, if Norm's still around, yeah. Oh, still active.
I'll reach out to Kim tomorrow. If I don't get a good response from her, I'll go ahead and send out an email to the board. We'll have to put our feelers out.
Okay. I'm sure there's stuff on the Secretary of State's website, but I haven't even bothered to look at it since.
Yeah, you have the reason to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kevin, what do you got?
No, nothing to add.
Okay. Mike, are you with us? On the phone?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have anything to add to your report?
I do not have anything to add to my report.
Okay. Steve?
I'm afraid I'm going to be stepping down at the convention too. I'm sorry that this role and I were not a good fit, and I should have known that beforehand. And I started off, trying to get certain things done. I just ran into obstacles at every turn, and I just didn't have the time or capacity to overcome those obstacles. So I'm sorry about that, but I'll definitely be willing to help out any kind of support role. And,
Is there another position you think you'd like to step into?
Well, I really did want regions initially, and unless somebody else is really craving that, I think that it would be a better role in the sense that I know a lot of the people, and it's something I'm already going to like the JEFCO meetings. I go to the Boulder ones sometimes, so.
Okay. I think there's one fellow that is new to Colorado that may be throwing his hat in the ring. He was supposed to be here tonight, but he's not here. So, we'll see. Arm wrestle anybody.
All right.
All right. Communications.
Nothing, well, yeah, I do. It's not related to the report, but a couple things. If anyone here is planning on being a delegate and hasn't filled out the voluntary application, please do so, because we want to distribute that information ahead of time. So I don't think I've seen everyone here that I thought would fill it out yet. Also, I think it was in my report, but I can't remember, but you guys got the email. So I'm another one who's stepping down as of convention. I'll be doing an email tomorrow about all the positions now we know, so that people will know for things to run. But for those who are in the room that do not know why, I was doing that because I'm running for secretary and for LNC secretary, and I need to put all my attention onto that. I've withdrawn from everything. I'm not doing the national social media volunteering anymore. I'm actually not even a Radical Caucus member presently, because all my attention is going to this race, because I'm in it to win it. And apparently I'm corrupting people with t-shirts so bad.
Talk about that another time. Okay.
A couple things, some of the questions. First of all, we have something called a motions book, which was suggested by Karen Ann, and we've had it for over a year now. And the last time it was accessed was March in 2017. Nobody's looked at it, so I'm not sure that's a useful device, and I'm wondering if it's time to shut down that experiment. We do have a year and a quarter's worth of motions listed.
I think it's a good idea, in my opinion, I think it's a good idea to keep record of all those.
But nobody ever looks at it. If the record's not there, it wouldn't be any different.
It's one of those things I don't think will be looked at often, but when it is looked at, it's needed. I was the one who probably looked at it in March.
Over some contentious issue. And that's what it mostly be used for. If somebody says, no, we said we were going to allocate funds for Kevin's weird outreach project. And then we can go look back and see. But we can also go back at the minutes. Now, there is something that we missed. The convention minutes had been approved in April, right after the convention. But we missed that because I hadn't put that in the motions, or because more likely nobody checked the motions thing. And so they had already been approved, and then we went and reapproved them. I think September was when we looked at them again.
When they were approved in April? Was I not around?
In April. It's on the motions list.
Really?
And then it's September, and I think we looked at them again in November.
Well, now we know they're really good.
They're really good minutes. Well, considering who took them, but anyway. So, you know, if we actually used it, it would be useful, I agree, but it hasn't been used. So we can either get rid of it now, or we can wait until the next board comes in and see what they want to do. Go ahead, Kevin.
Anybody have a motion on that?
Okay, I'll make a motion. I move that we eliminate the motions. This will not be in there. But anyway, so either way, though.
Any discussion? Objections? Okay.
I guess it's coming.
Take a roll
Well,
call.
it didn't get seconded, did it?
Small boards don't need
Yep. We'll go ahead and take a roll call here. Jake, are you voting on Richard's?
I thought-
No, wait, without
You
objection.
did it without objection.
Oh, okay.
If you wouldn't have, I would have.
Can you convince me?
And I was
Withdraw
thinking
my
of
motion?
objection, but I didn't get there fast.
No, but if there's a good reason that you have.
I'm an engineer, I keep records of stuff. I think it's a good thing to have.
What do you think about waiting till the next board?
Steve?
Well, I would say, I'm trying to argue you out of it.
Go for it.
I mean, you know, sometimes we said, like, did we vote on this matter? You know, what have we said about a certain subject before? And, you know, trying to slog through the minutes, you know, what that's like. And if we can just have a list, I mean, is it pretty straightforward? Just here's the motion.
Yeah, one line per motion. They're categorized by type, the money is shown, and then
I think it's a good thing to have it.
Bill, you've never seen it.
I haven't had the, but like you said, it's something when you need it, you need
Oh,
it, you know.
Draw your objection.
I withdraw. I'll bring it up with the next board. If I don't get voted out of office, that's the result of it. Okay, let's see. I still got a minute or two, right? Let me
Yeah,
see what
you're
I
still
on. General question. Can we donate as a party to activists or other people outside the Libertarian Party? I mean, is that something that we're allowed to do? Can we donate to the ACLU? I guess we gave them a table last year, but I mean, is that, I don't know what.
They ended up paying for it, so.
Oh, they did, so that's not really done.
Yeah, they did, they worked it out somehow. I don't know what they did, but.
Okay.
Why the question?
Well, I just want to know if that's a viable thing. I've had people come to me asking for, what can the Libertarian Party do for us, various groups?
Not give them money.
Not give them money. Yeah, we have some negative money we can give them right now, but, okay. All right, so we don't have official policy on that.
We do not.
Well, that would be in the campaign law. I don't remember.
I know that, yeah, there's some limits on whether parties can donate to.
And I don't remember the details, but
We can do some research on that, John, and bring that to us next month.
Okay, all right, that's all I got.
Okay. All right, LNC report. Got nothing?
I've got lots of somethings, but no, I don't got anything in writing at this point. It's been fun, but oh no, I actually do have a couple things actually, just in general with the LNC meeting coming up. If anyone might want to volunteer or be available to help pick up people who are coming from the airport and taking them over to Woolies or over to the party at Michelle and Kevin's and things like that. That's generally what the host state does at the time of the LNC meetings. I could shoot that around by email just to keep it in mind.
I've done it before, and it's great fun because you get to talk to the speaker, you know, one-on-one.
Okay, anything else?
What are the dates of the LNC meeting again?
April 20th through
420
through 422.
Okay.
If you really want entertainment, go to the last meeting video and watch my impassioned plea for it had to be in Colorado, or we would be so insulted if the 420 meeting was not here.
God love you, Karen. That's perfect.
Roger?
Sorry, so Karen, you're going to send that around as an email then for people to volunteer, or how should you volunteer?
As it gets closer and I know we start knowing everyone's schedule, yeah, I'm going to send it around as an email.
Okay, nothing else on your LNC report?
Unless anyone has any questions.
Okay. No questions? All right, standing committee report. Clayton, what do you got? Nothing, Deb? Okay. David?
Nothing to add.
Next, we got convention committee. Roger, what do you got for us?
Well, I think all of you have seen, I submitted a memo, which I think is fairly detailed. I think we're down to the short strokes in terms of the mechanics of the meeting. There's actually very little. I think everything has been pretty much set up at this point. Obviously, I think the last week before the convention, I'm sure there's going to be some last minute things, but for the most part, I think things are pretty well set up. The only issue we have, and I'd like to maybe turn it over to Matt over here to give us an update. No, seriously. The only issue is that we have no, currently we're looking at something like Matt has better figures than I do. My last estimate was that we're looking at something like a $14,000 shortfall versus the current sales. We are just way behind on sales. We waited way too long. I could give my opinion on why that happened, but it's probably not useful at this point. But the fact of the matter is that we're way behind on sales. We are now in a position where on sponsorships, it's actually going to be very difficult to take them because we've basically closed the convention program, which was finalized. The layout was finalized last night. We probably have the ability to take them in for advertisements, to do it as a separate piece of paper, but we can no longer put them directly into the convention booklet. So I think we should still try to get some sponsorships, but obviously time is very tight. Likewise with ads, we're continuing to try to do that. But where we really have to make an effort, and I think at this point it has to be an all hands on the deck effort, is with ticket sales. I think a limited number of people can continue to try to pursue sponsorships, but we really have to go out there, and I think everyone has to use their personal relationships to try to get as many ticket sales as possible. Because right now we're looking at a very grim financial prospect. Matt, I don't know if there's
how many
anything you
full
want to add
access
to that.
passes have been sold so far, Matt? And how current is it?
The all access packets. Sorry, I got to bounce around the store here real quick.
If you're lucky.
So,
is there a current list of who's bought tickets?
Yes. Beatrice will have it. I'm looking at the invoice list right now because I know the last one I sent to Beatrice before her numbers here.
Oh, yeah.
So since I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more all access passes, so that put us up to 20. That put us up to 26. We have a Saturday pass.
So
then
that's
we also
two of
have Kevin and Michelle's sponsorship is in there as well. So that came in there. So we have to consider that. You also have to consider, we haven't sold many sponsorships, that there are tickets associated with that. So So Frank, with your tickets, team with the approval voting, again, thank you so much for supporting. So there's going to be 3 more to put onto it. Arapahoe County, there's 2 more to put onto it as well. But so what we got to do, we really do have to pump out trying to do ticket sales. I think the best thing for us is just trying to get money in the bank is going to be to try to shoot for, and this goes to anyone, everyone, the sponsor, just the booths, all right? Because it's $50 in the bank for us every time. Boom, 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 boom. We have to do nothing. They show up, they set up, they have a table at the end. No cost to us. We don't have to worry about printing. It's a whole lot less in sales because like we found out with the ACLU last year, it's different when you have a booth than when you're an actual sponsor. There is some split in that designation. So that makes it so that there are opportunities with other political activist groups and things like that for them to get in without it being an affiliation. So if we can do that, that'd be good. Even though he didn't email me back, some of the ticket sales that come in are from a list I gave Mark Montoni to take care of the weekend. So I think we've gotten a couple out of that one. Tomorrow, Thursday, my goal is to call the people that got the discounted tickets last year. I would like to go ahead with the board here since we're in the crunch time. We're low on numbers. We do have room to move everything 10% as a discount. And I can load that into the store as a discount. I think it would behoove us to move that direction because as much as we are offering, there is still sticker shock. We can't deny that. It's just people's natural response. So I'd like to get approval on that one if possible, and we can make maybe a little bit more dough that way. Get more butts in the door. More butts in the door could be more donations on the back end.
So I think given that tool would be a good thing. Go ahead, Mike.
A couple things. One, as Michelle has pointed out before, half of our sales are in the last week and at the door. Don't give up yet.
We have, but remember, we also have to have the cutoff. I think Roger was it Monday or Tuesday with reporting the meals needed to the hotel.
We have a 72 hours before. 72 hours we have to report to the hotel.
So Tuesday.
That's
other hotels have let us do it at the last minute because of door.
It's impossible. They have to order the food for the catering.
Last year, what happened?
But tickets we can continue to sell tickets, but obviously they're not going to be able to accommodate meals. But on the other hand,
wait. Let's see what Matt.
Let me just but the other thing is that obviously if we don't have to pay for the meal as well. So basically, the way the tickets have been priced is that the premium to our actual out-of-pocket cost on the tickets is probably about 20%. So it's not, so again, if you get rid of the expense, the margin, we lose the margin obviously, but the margin is not huge. But I don't know what happened last year, but I've got to believe every hotel required some advance notice.
No, because they have a certain slot factor of 10%.
Right.
In addition to what you order, and you can order up until, we put the information in because the bank was on Saturday. We put the information on Friday night. So
what happened with this a little bit last year, and just a little bit mistake on booking a few too many speakers to come in that didn't end up taking when we had a couple of no-shows as well. It wasn't that we were able to order from the hotel last minute. It's that we were able to ultimately kind of to get 2 meals out of one, offer a little bit of discount because we already hit the nut on it.
Okay.
Well, we have a certain minimum that we have to meet in the way of food and beverage. So I think that the only time that we're going to run into a problem is if we sell more than what we anticipate, to where the hotel would have to provide more meals. We can ask them to bring more meals as long as it doesn't take us over our minimum.
You make a very good point. At the moment, we are in the zone now. We could probably sell something like I would guess somewhere between roughly 60 tickets at zero marginal cost. Because basically until we hit the floor, we have to bear the cost of that anyway.
Right. That first.
And likewise, we could order. I can obviously do the exact calculation on break even, and we should definitely go back to the hotel and say and tell them, okay, we're going to have this minimum number, period, even regardless of whether we've actually sold the tickets, because we're going to have to pay for them anyway.
Right. So you might as well get it.
That way, if we have people come in late, we'll still be able to provide.
Yeah, but we're probably not going to want to go above it. And obviously, if we actually go above that, then we still won't be able to accommodate people.
Right.
But we have, the hotel originally requested 5 business days of advance notice, and we said to them, that's really not workable. So they've cut it down to 3, but 3 is their bare minimum.
Okay. And then the other question I had, like the AV, if I read that chart right, we're spending $3,400 on these guys who are streaming and doing the audio and all that kind of stuff.
No, I haven't been keeping up with all the discussions, but the guys who are streaming and doing the audio is doing nothing. They're charging
free?
them. They're free.
I thought I saw some audio visual. What do you see there, Matt?
No, audio visual.
I've got it at 1650.
1650, but that's actually for Steve Francine to come in, he put in microphones, put in speakers, etc. That's not that has nothing to do with the video guys.
Okay, that's just to pay his laborers.
Right.
And we need that? I mean, because in the past, we haven't had that. We've had speakers that hook into boxes and things like that.
Steve did it all last year.
This
Steve
is
did it all last year.
He did last year. No, I'm talking years past. We used to own our own microphones and stuff.
Okay.
So
last year, actually, the number that's in there, 1650, is an estimate based on what he was paid last year.
okay.
Okay, so I'm not sure what happened prior to that, but this is exactly what happened last year.
I do think we have less rooms to cover this year for him than we did last year, with all the different breakout sessions. So I think there's less.
But that's just
done.
minor for this whole game.
If that's true, you know, as Wayne is pointing out, basically Steve Francine was a very good guy. It just charges us the actual physical cost of paying his employees. So if we can get by with less, then it will cost us less. So the figure that's in there is again a carryover from last year. He hasn't given us. I could request from him. He hasn't given us an estimate of what this year is going to be. But in any event, he's just going to charge us what he's actually paying his employees.
And is there anything else we haven't paid for, like posters and signs? And
very little at this point. Okay. I mean, first off, there's very little of that stuff. I mean, the hotel is, you know, as I'm sure you've seen the budget, the hotel is 85 to 90% of our total cost. And the only thing that's, you know, and basically, you know, to give you an example, all of the printing that we've done, last year was done in color. This year it's black and white because it's dramatically cheaper. So anything where we could have made economies on, we've pretty much done it. At this point.
It was really the hotel.
The hotel is again, as you can see in the budget, the hotel is 85 to 90% of the cost.
So one last thing, and this is good news, and that is in the past we've raised $4,000 at the banquets.
Right.
So, you know, we need to have people there to do that, but that's another thing that can help keep us from going too far.
And I do believe that what we have going for us this year that we're doing really smart is that we're auctioning off seats at the dinner tables with Laura and with Larry that I think we'll be able to get some good money out of there too. So I do think that we have some plans in place that's going to help us bump these numbers quite a bit. So it's not going perfectly, but I do think that there are some things that are improved off last year that are going to help make that up. You know, it didn't work all together the way it could have quite because the bumps in the road, but I think we're putting together the picture. We're very close.
But the key is, sorry, David, I was just going to add on that. All of this stuff requires getting bums on seats, right? We have to get people through. The auction's not going to go anywhere. None of that. Plus, it's going to be enormously embarrassing to bring Larry Sharp and others in here, you know, after begging them to come in and get, you know, if we have a half-empty room.
Yeah, and we have with the, you know, because we have that potential for that extra mill. I know that we needed to kind of figure out what to go with that. But I mean, we might want to look at the idea on trying to get more notice out there. I mean, we could possibly offer a Saturday all access or something like that for any one random winner, anyone that shares our post about our convention. Just try to get it out there on social media as much as we can. You know, because I mean, if we pick up 3 or 4 ticket sales and have to give one away, we're equal, and everything from there is money. You know, might be a good thing to do here in this last week to try to pump up some sales.
Sorry, David.
Is there any benefit to drastically cutting the price to get more people in here?
If you think you can get enough money off of the back end, then yes. If you don't think you can get enough money off the back end, then no, because you're just going to be losing
But the cost per banquet is 35, well, 0 up to 60. So
yeah, I mean, the gratuity and everything gets in there. What was it? It's like $120 or $125 is our actual cost or something like that for just
I forgot I was going to calculate the number, but I think the actual out-of-pocket cost for an all access was closer to like $150.
Okay. Wow. So that gives you, and it's just food and beverage.
Again, it's 5 meals. It's 5 meals. It's coffee and tea service. It's also on Friday night. There's going to be kind of like snacks and stuff like that. So it is what it is. My question to Matt is, and again, before we start talking about discounting prices and everything else, is could you give us an update on exactly what has been done to approach people? Because I think my reluctance to cut prices at this point in time, I'm not convinced that we've actually made the effort to try to sell them at their existing prices.
Yeah,
so can you tell me what has happened?
I don't know how many people that Mark has called. I know that I've called a number of the sponsors from last year. I know that I've called, I think I made 20 calls off the list myself.
20 calls of attendees from last year.
Attendees from last year, and I still have about another 25, or I think I have about another 25 that were on the discounted list that are going to be the last ones called. Those are the ones that we're paying instead of the 125, and we knocked it down to like $75 at the very end when we hit our number.
Right.
So those are going to be the ones, and that's the you're kind of running into it. Would they have attended anyways, or were they just discount buyers? Period.
Sure.
That is the question at hand. But like I said, I've got calls to make more.
Can no one find out what Montoni has done? Is this guy just totally unreachable?
He back. He must have got the email and he called
can no one find,
because I think he's selling tickets. But yeah, I didn't get any bump back from him on it. I think he just took it, did it, and he went.
And I take it, Bennett, you haven't called anyone. I don't think Eric has called anyone, etc.
I have called people.
Right.
But unfortunately, I've left a lot more messages on a lot more answering machines.
Right.
Caller ID, just unfamiliar number. They let it go more often than not.
Yeah.
So what percentage of the calls that you're making are you closing?
Oh, very, very little. They're mostly messages, David. I think I've spoken to 4 or 5 people in person. One of them is Bruce. Bruce, when are you gonna buy your ticket? I mean, I'm telling you, people do not answer the phone anymore, David. And I'm sorry to say this, and I'll be honest, when I first came to the committee, I said, I will take care of setting up the website. I want no part of doing calls. I want no part of sales. And I got it slammed onto me. So this, unfortunately, if I had 2 months to grit my teeth and do the exchanges like I did last year, we would have gotten more. And if we would have gotten some honesty on it from some people, it could have happened. But unfortunately, we got pushed back in too deep of a corner. And I apologize before the board that we're in this position. If there was anything I could really do that I thought that would absolutely elevate it, I would do it. But it's just a constraint of time when it came to the printing of the programs. We got pushed into a really, really nasty corner.
Okay.
So
we have probably 4,000 or 5,000 emails of registered libertarians here in the state. Is there any way, or can we send them something?
I can draft you up something, because I think, like I said, the sponsor boost could really be good for us, because we have plenty of room to lay those out and things like that. The programs are tough, so that would be something we can get out there very easily. If you want me to draft up something to get sent out, I would absolutely do that.
Go for it, and I'll see that it goes out.
Well, I've been sending emails out.
Okay.
To who? To which list? The 5,000?
It's about 5,000 people that get it.
Okay.
Now I saw, and I think I got that email, but I looked at it and went, okay, those are the dates, but it didn't say buy your tickets.
Oh, the one yesterday had it in like 4 places in big letters.
If I could check.
And another one's going out tomorrow or tonight, depending when I get to it. What I was asking where the list was, because I want to see if everyone who sent in an application to be a delegate has gotten a ticket.
Oh, okay. So I'm if you want to get with Beatrice tomorrow, I have a round of invoices to send to her tonight, so she should have a complete list, and some of the names she doesn't have for the few sponsorships on there. But obviously, I have Michelle and Kevin on board.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if you go with Beatrice, she should have all of that good for you tomorrow.
So to finish answering the question, I have dialed perhaps 50 numbers, and I am certain that I have sold 5 tickets, 3 full access, and 1 Friday evening, and 1 seminar access.
That's good. Out of 50 calls.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm gonna ask every one of the board members here to not only get on Facebook and send out to their entire sphere, but also to get on your phone and call all the people that are friends of yours and see if they've bought their ticket yet and persuade them to do exactly that. At this point, we have to get on the phone. I recognize the burden that Matt says where a lot of people don't answer their phone right now, and I've experienced that in my own business. People just are less likely to answer the phone now than they were even a couple, 3 years ago. But we still have to make the calls and leave the messages, as well as send out emails and get it on Facebook. And we all have to take a little bit of a commitment here, so it's not all on the convention committee. Will everybody do that? I think we've got to. And I've been making lots of calls. I've sold probably 8 or 10 tickets in the last 3 days. Well, these people said they were going to buy their tickets. These were people that were not going to come. So I think it's important that we reach out to all the phone numbers that we have. Now, guys, we get a volunteer list that David sends out every month. Has everybody, all the board members here, looked at the February list of volunteers? Go into that. Most of those volunteers have phone numbers. So we should call those people. If they're interested enough to volunteer, they should certainly be interested enough to come to the convention. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I will take as well as all the national inquiries, I'll take all the calls that are in the clerical tab. Kevin, do you have all the outreach? What are the other tabs?
There's issues and local groups and campaigns. Now there's some overlap there. Okay.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people have volunteered for
Several
4 or 5
things.
different things. Yeah.
So
Could you put out a list that was just the volunteers, and then we could split them up, 10 each or something like that?
yeah.
I mean, would that be easy to make just the one list?
Mhm.
And if you could email us a link to it, and then we could each,
Okay.
you could assign us 10 each or something like that, or
Okay.
however you want to do it. No?
Yeah. Would you be willing to divvy those up and give
Or
them
maybe he
assignments?
doesn't need to divvy them up. He puts out the list, and then as you call them, mark them off so that other people won't call the same number.
Well, as long as there's a mechanism that we can use to do that.
Yeah, you can just.
Well, it's in a spreadsheet,
Yeah.
so I can. So I guess I could set up a column that says result.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we know it's been called.
Bruce, you have something?
Yeah, campaigns, how big is the list? Do you have any idea? Order of magnitude?
Oh, probably. Well, the last one, I think there was probably 15 or so on campaigns.
Okay, I will volunteer to call all of them. I will also volunteer to not just call them to ask them to come. I will call them to ask them to help campaign.
You bet.
Right on.
Would you separate that list and get that to Bruce, or just the campaign people? David?
Okay.
And then the other one, we'll just go in when you send us an email with the link. So.
Okay.
All right. Roger, is there anything else you want to direct us to? I know you're going to be out of contact for a few days.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still have, email. I'll bring my laptop, obviously, so I'll have email, I'll have phone, but I just won't be able to pick it up, at the time, but I'll still check everything. The only other thing is Bennett is putting together the volunteer teams. So I think that there's still a few empty slots. Is that?
Yes, and in fact, the most exciting of those is the assistant to a speaker, where you actually get to stand at the elbow of one of our most famous speakers and basically be a gopher.
Okay. David, you have it.
Back to the volunteers. I've been segregating the volunteers since last July, I think. So we probably have more than the number I mentioned. If you want, I can put all of those together.
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, because those are all people that are involved. There's no reason that we shouldn't be reaching out to those people. And, I recommend, I know a lot of people are afraid of the phone. a lot of people in our world today, but I recommend that we call them first. Even if we have to leave a message, then we follow up with an email, because we should have all of their email addresses. Or almost all their email addresses.
I would just mention, as you're making these calls, I mean, it's important to sell tickets and get some revenue, but it's important we get attendees to the convention, even if they just show up for the business, because currently we have, according to your reports, we have less attendees than we have positions available for board, for delegates.
Everybody shows up.
For political seats, candidacies. Shoot, with the offices between State House and
we have about 90 vacancies.
90s. I've heard from a couple of people that said, well, I can't afford to come to the convention. Well, yes, you can, because it's absolutely free if you just want to come to the business meeting.
And then at least we have a shot at, getting a donation or something out of them. So I agree with you that, if you don't think you can sell a ticket, at least get them to show up.
Mm-hmm. And once they're there, like you say, I mean.
Well, and I mean, as far as the candidates too, I mean, we have some exceptional seminars. People that are really thinking about running, if they're thinking about running seriously, they should dump $10 out of their pocket and come check out the seminars for candidates.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're trying to, you're doing a good job trying to hand out a lot of helpful stuff to people here, and I think it just tends to be people's own arrogance makes it so they are unwilling to accept it and go the other way. Nobody has the answers yet. Laura Epke's as close as we have with the answers. We have to provide proof that she can be an incumbent too. So we need people to come and show up for that.
She'll beat she's going to win hers.
If somebody goes through and just buys a la carte the things they want to go to, they don't have that sticker shock of paying for 5 meals. I mean, they can pick up Dunkin' Donuts or starve themselves to death. I don't care.
Well, if they show up and spend the entire morning, they're going to want breakfast or lunch.
You're going to eat somewhere.
Yeah, got to eat somewhere. So I'm just waiting at the convention. So, all right. Anything else, Robert?
No, that's it. That's it.
All right. Well, I thank you for all your efforts. You've done a yeoman's job, considering the late start that you got on this thing, and I've been very impressed with it. So we need the board's help to make sure that we reach out to everybody and get some tickets sold, so that we have a full packed room.
One last thing, Roger, would you be willing to put together some documentation about what you did and resources and things, so that we don't have to go through this? What do we do now each year?
Yeah, that's my intention. Is that as soon as we're over, I'm going to put together. I mean, everything from here's how you set up a conference line.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I fully intend.
Okay.
And I'll have Magento instructions for setting up the store too. I thought I had put them in the file last year, but I don't.
Okay.
I'll be looking into different solutions to replace Magento, by the way. But.
Oh, well, that's just fantastic, Clayton. That's even better than me writing down the process. Magento is. I mean, it's.
Don't take that as an excuse not to do it. Go ahead.
All right, we have no old business. New business, volunteer lists, we've already touched on. But guys, it's important that all those people get follow-up phone calls once they reach out to us. If we don't reach out back to them, then they think that we're not really interested in having their help, having their participation with our party. So I field all of the national calls that come in, which is between 30 and 40 a month. The list that we get, if broken down per month, is probably less than 10 per different area. Some are a little higher, some are a little lower, but on average, probably about 10 per subcategory. And if we don't make those calls, we're dropping the ball. I want to make sure that everybody's aware of those volunteer calls that are coming in, and then we follow up and make all those calls. Streaming concerns with convention. Karen, I think this was yours, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think we decided over email we were going to leave it in Clayton's hands because he understood what it all meant. Like, I didn't get it. And it concerned me because I didn't get it.
All right, well, I got an email today, so I'll
Yeah.
try to work with them.
And if you need access to our page to do whatever you need to do, just let me know and I'll promote you on the page.
All right.
I just don't want to have an access way for someone to be streaming porn 2 weeks from now on our Facebook page.
Yep, that's a
Probably improve our stats.
we might get a big bump in the reach.
All right, guys, annual reports will be due on, what did we say?
18th.
18th. Make sure that you guys have those all posted by the 18th so David can get them up. Karen will have website links for any of the attendees that want to see the full yearly officer reports on the program, rather than print the, have an abbreviated report like we did last year, which left so much information out, it was really pretty useless. Now we're going to have a link to the entire full board report for the year for each one of the directors. So please make sure you get everything done by the 18th. We can't not have those up. Right?
And there's a folder inside the minutes for March for the annual reports.
Somebody already posted one.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think Mike put that up. All right. Next thing I have here is I received a very nice letter from Jay Stooksbury this morning, and I'm going to take just a moment to read it to you. I wanted to drop a quick note to you about a couple of your board members. Please feel free to share this with the group if you'd like. So I'd like. Mike Spalding is a rock star. One of our speakers at our recent outreach event bagged at the last second. I sent a message at 8 a.m. to Mike to see if he'd be interested in presenting on the Fast Tax Initiative, and he responded instantly, agreeing to help out. He did a tremendous job on such short notice. We received a great deal of positive feedback following his presentation. Also, Mike donated to my city council campaign. I don't know if you want to keep that a secret there, Mike, but
it was more than $20.
Yes,
it's public.
It was very generous. Mike went above and beyond the call of duty to help our affiliate in my campaign, and he deserves some praise for his efforts. Did you drive all the way up to Delta for that?
Electronically.
Oh, so it wasn't such a big deal.
Wait a minute, I was loving that.
All right, next is David. David Adkin has also been tremendous help. David called me out of the blue to learn more about my city council run. He asked some great questions and made some helpful suggestions. He provided me with contact of registered libertarians in Delta, which has been helpful for voter outreach. David caught me off guard by asking, well, what is the maximum I can donate? And he made a generous donation to my campaign and helped me purchase more marketing materials. So thank you, David. Both Mike and David deserve praise for their efforts to support local libertarians. I'm very thankful to them, and to be a part of the state LP. Libertarians supporting libertarians is how this party will grow. Thanks again for what y'all do. Sorry that I won't be in attendance for the state convention because that's the last week before his election. But yeah, that's Jay Stooksbury, the chair of the Delta Authority. So thanks, guys. Appreciate your help.
Excuse me. I did want to add something.
Okay.
Well, just, David, we found something very interesting about you in the historical records where you had done an outreach booth at a rave in the middle of the night.
I don't remember that.
It's an LP News. It's an LP News. And in your quote, you said, and they were very receptive to our message. Well, they're on ecstasy. Of course, they were very receptive to your message.
Were there pictures, Karen?
No, but they called in a second shift of libertarians, you said, because you're like, these things go on a long time. So at 4 a.m., we called in another shift. And I'm like, Raven Dave.
All right, guys. Is there anything else anybody else wants to add? I am out of material.
Just, Center-Right Coalition commenting that both for caucuses for Democrats and Republicans, very few people showed up Tuesday last week. With regards to pitching the importance of arming individuals in schools, the emphasis should be not on magazines and guns, but on the safety. Approach it from the safety of the students rather than getting into the details and weeds of magazines and guns. And center-right coalitions vigorously pushing preserving Tabor and keeping that going. And if from a Frank Atwood tangent, there's a movie called The Death of Stalin that is coming out later this month that I think will be quite entertaining. And if anybody's interested in going, I'm eager to join you. Thank you.
The Death of Stalin was released in the UK probably about 6 months ago. It's very funny.
Yes.
It's very funny.
And it was released in New York and Los Angeles this past Friday, but I hear that it won't make it to Denver until the 30th. I think they're waiting for a Trump-Kim analogy to take place and to give it a bump, but I don't know. You recommend the movie?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's very good.
Okay.
Very good. Anything else?
When we're adjourned, I have something, but I'm not going to.
Anything else?
I was just looking, this is just a thought for this year. For $200, and I believe it's May 19th. I don't know if the party has ever tried, but I think the 5 Points Jazz Festival could be an interesting place for us to show our faces at.
How many people show?
I'm gonna have to find out that information for you on that. I'm just looking at their vendor page right now, and it doesn't say, but I could probably drum that up and I'll email the board on that one. But it's $200 for the nonprofit booth. So Kevin, you'd know more about how that's in line with other events.
Is that 200 inclusive, or do they charge an application fee and require insurance and all that other stuff? Because that would add probably $50 to $100.
I'll email this link to you.
Thank you.
How many of you in this room have not yet bought your tickets? I would encourage you to do that as quickly as you can. We need to have the money in the bank because we need to start writing checks for some things.
I sense a conflict of interest where the guy that's recommending a reduced price hasn't paid for his ticket.
Not for board members. You have to pay the full price. John?
About the reducing the price now, I mean, I can understand having like a discount for early purchases.
Yeah.
But if you have a discount for last minute purchases, you're encouraging people to not buy the ticket until, you know.
It's kind of a slap.
I think it's a good idea.
I don't think doing any kind of a blast for a discount should happen until the last two or at the very most 3 days. I'd like to see it go down to the 2-day period before we offer any discounts at all.
This is I would just like to know, I am working 7 days in a row starting Friday. So if you want a discount on that store, it needs to happen Thursday.
Thursday this week?
Yes.
And that discount only is good up until 7 o'clock Friday night, correct?
Yeah, till the food cutoff.
No, actually, no. If we buy
the
extra,
food cutoff?
if we buy extra meals, which I think we're in agreement that we need to do that. We can go ahead and give those discounts at the door if we have to.
Yeah, I mean, until
We have a minimum, let me explain that. We have a minimum food bill. And whether we sell enough plates to use up all that food or not, doesn't make any difference to the hotel. So we could give that discount at the door if somebody showed up at the door, last minute purchase. So, but let's not offer that or even let people know that there will be a discount until we're down to our last card. So
I will calculate the break even. I should have done it. I'll calculate the break even. What's the number of tickets, the minimum number of tickets that we need in order to hit our minimum, and that will be the people that, and we're going to order that in any case, so that food will be available, and then we can offer discounts for that until the last minute.
Bruce?
I'll make an offer for 2 things. If the board can find me somebody who can do graphics arts kind of stuff, make me a design for something, I'll run 2 ads on Facebook. I can reach 7,000 libertarians in the state, which is apparently how many they know, for $25 for a week.
Dang, libertarians are cheap.
But as a campaign thing, which is one of the 2, I can only do Eastern Colorado. That's all I'm allowed to do. The other has to be a donation.
What is it that you're asking from us?
graphic artists. And I will
Don't you have
donate
an ad
$25 so
made
that the
up?
Libertarian Party
Well, Eric
can
is the
run
one
one
who
ad.
does stuff for us when he can.
I know, but don't
I
we
will
already
run
have
an
one?
ad.
We have an ad running, yes.
But could we send the ad to him and he could put it on his Facebook thing?
We reach I target it the same way.
Oh, so you're already sending the ad to those people?
Well,
Yeah,
it
but
might,
it's more people. It's just, yeah, $25. I mean, why not? But it just adds it.
Because she's right, it's the same. It's the same people.
I target the same people.
Then you'll hit them twice.
No, you won't have them twice. It won't make any,
Yeah,
you just spend extra money for nothing. If
Okay,
it's
never
two
mind.
different ads, sure.
Amy's real good at the graphics too.
Mhm.
but I know Eric can knock out a Facebook, well, Karen, you're pretty good at it too.
At
Eric
what?
can knock out stuff in a matter of minutes for Facebook ads. He does a nice job. If you look at the stuff that he does for Arapahoe County, they're way superior to anything that I've seen from any of the other groups. He does a good job. So, well, Matt, would you reach out to,
Derek?
no, let me reach out to, okay, I'll call her. Thank you for the offer, Bruce. Kevin?
Since you mentioned Arapahoe County, tomorrow night is Arapahoe County's meetup, monthly meetup, and our special guest speaker is the chair of the Libertarian Party of Colorado.
Wow.
And how many in the room here are actually Arapahoe County residents? I know Arapahoe County will have a convention of their own on Saturday, April 7th. Bennett, correct me if I'm wrong, is it noon to 2 or something like that at the
Yes, at the salvage.
restaurant at Havana and Yale.
It's gonna cost you $13,000.
It's actually, there's no cost of admission. You're highly encouraged to buy something from the restaurant because they're giving us the room for free.
Okay, anything else?
One more
Steve?
thing.
Does Jay have a website or something like that if
Yes.
people want to help him out?
Yes.
Yes, you can donate, I did.
Okay.
Mike?
Just the final thing, fair and simple tax reform to the camera, and I have petitions, so you guys can sign petitions. If people want to take petitions, you get 300 signatures or more, they're paying $125, so that'd be $375. Or you can just circulate the petition and get some signatures for us, and see me afterwards to either sign or get a petition.
Okay,
The Secretary of State did that this morning.
thanks, Mike. Anything else? We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, any objections? We're adjourned.